And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the only podcast on the internet where I sit down behind a microphone and tell you about the stuff that happened to me. It's not the only podcast, actually. The application, I guess, does that as well. Here we are, recording another podcast on my phone, mostly because I know today is going to be very long and I won't be able to sit down behind a microphone or in front of a camera, in front of a proper camera. I don't know how this looks. If you're watching the video version, you see that I am talking into my phone again. And you also see that, I don't know why I'm screaming. You also see that I do have a camera on me this week. It is the GoPro sitting on the dashboard of my car. I am at my dentist's office, and I have an appointment in 19 minutes, and I got to go in there. So we'll even see if this is a full episode. Might even take a break halfway through, like we usually do. But I'm doing this. No matter what happens, I will do the Constitutionals. I will do News Time. I will do the application. Last night I did the application, and it was, I would say, not the best episode because I felt sick. My stomach was hurting me, and here we are. Now that I mentioned this yesterday in the application. Last week I had a cold. That cold turned into, like, I had a throat thing. My throat was hurting. Then that throat thing turned into a cold. The cold turned into a sinus headache Monday. And then between Monday and Tuesday, that turned into a stomach, issue. My stomach was hurting. And I woke up, stomach hurt just a little bit. Now it doesn't hurt. But now it's worked its way back up to my face. And now my jaw hurts. So I think it's another sinus thing. What is going on? I made the joke last night that I'm like, I never feel this way. Anyway, welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. You can see where my life is right now. I have to carry around this GoPro and whatnot. I did find I have a contracting gig, and I did find, I'm not gonna tell you where. I did find that there are offices there that are specifically made for phone calls. It's a small little office that's probably the size of the two front seats of my car. And you go in there, you sit down. There's a phone in there, there's a chair, and you sit down, and you close the door, close the glass pane. People can still see you, but it is specifically made for talking on the phone. And I really want to use it for talking on the podcast. And since I work midday to late night, I guess I can just go in there and do it. Not late night, it's early evening. No, it's midnight. Midnight, but not midnight. Next week I'll be working 3 a.m. to 11 a.m. Holy moly. Too much in my life. Let's go down with these things before I have to go inside. All right, so I saw a couple of movies this past weekend, of course, obviously. I watched The Long Dumb Road with Jason Mantzoukas and, what is that guy's name? The Long Dumb Road. It's a very funny movie. I thought it was a very great movie. I thought it was going to be a little bit more slapdash, a little less heart. I thought Jason Mantzoukas' character was going to be, it's Tony Revolori. Very funny guy. I thought Jason Mantzoukas' character was going to, and I'm not ruining anything by saying this, but who's going to, backstab Tony, and Tony was just going to take it. But he didn't. This movie was directed by Hannah Fidel, did a wonderful job. She wrote it alongside Carson D. Mel, and it has not grossed a lot of money. It has grossed less money. It's grossed about half of what I've made this year, which is not good, guys, at this point in time. All right, so it's a road trip movie where Tony Revolori's character is going to college, driving across the country, and he picks up a hitchhiker in Jason Mantzoukas, and then this hitchhiker gets him into crazy shenanigans. They meet people along the way. Tasia Farmiga, Grace Gummer, Casey Wilson, Ron Livingston, they all do an exceptional job. Ron Livingston's character, I guess I feel like he was shoehorned in there for the story purposes. In the second parts when he shows up twice. But it's a very funny movie. The ending is no one dies or anything, but it's kind of what you expect, for these two characters. But it's very fun. It's very funny. I urge you to watch it. I assume it's going to be streaming at some point. Maybe on Hulu. I can only see it being on Hulu. Sorry to Bother You is on Hulu right now. Very excited. I just rented Blind Spotting with Daveed Diggs. I'm so excited to watch that movie. I also have rented The Death of Stalin for the second time because the first time I forgot to watch it and it expired. I have until December 17th. It gives me 2 more weeks. I gotta watch it. I just remembered that I had it. Very funny movie, long done road. Speaking of Death of Stalin, that's on my list. I don't know why it's on here because I didn't want to watch it. I've been watching the She-Ra show on Netflix as well. The new She-Ra is the reboot created by someone who's my age, and it doesn't hurt because I'm excited that she's doing this. It's created by Noel Stevenson, who has done a ton of work on. I'm pulling up her work right now. I promise you. She's done some like online drawings and stuff. I think she's worked on Wander Over Yonder, and but then she's the EP of the DreamWorks show She-Ra and the Princess of Power. It's a really great show. It's just like Voltron, except it's She-Ra. It's the same animation, the same type of comedic style, and it stars. Let's see, it's a very good cast, and it's very diverse, which is something you don't expect for any show anymore. But Amy Carrero, who is you could see her. I think she's the Elena of Avalor. She's Princess Elena, and she was on Young and Hungry. Wonderful person who is doing a really bang up job. I was gonna say spank down job, but it doesn't make sense. Also, I think that was way too sexual. Spank down. Karen Fukuhara is Glimmer. AJ Michalka is Catra, the arch nemesis of She-Ra. And there's a really good dynamic between Catra and She-Ra because in the premiere of the show, Adora or She-Ra is on the bad guy's side, and like her entire life she's been seeing princesses as the bad people, and that's what and I don't know if this is what they were aiming for, but within the first 5 minutes, when Adora and Catra and her team team is training inside the simulator, and they say these princesses are coming to kill you, these evil princesses, you kind of think, oh yeah, princesses might be evil in this world, and we might just be following. If you hadn't seen She-Ra, the 1987 cartoon, then that's what you would be thinking. I believe it was 1987. Also, I don't really care. 1985. Anyway. AJ Michalka, my future wife, she did a great job, does a great job. Marcus Scribner from Blackish, fantastic job. And then there's just a bunch. Lauren Ash is in there, who I thought Lauren Ash's character was Nicole Sullivan. That's only for me. Genesis Rodriguez, Vela Lovell, so many different. Greg Griffin's in there. You could definitely tell it's Greg Griffin. Sandra Oh, Adam Ray. Oh wow, good remember. So many great people in the show. It's a real page turner. If it was a comic book, it'd be a real page turner. Really interesting. I'm enjoying my time with it. I'm on the final episode of the season so far, and I get it. I get it. And it sparked an idea in me that I would love to do a reboot of He-Man. I mean, if you're going to bring back Voltron, you're going to bring back She-Ra, you might as well bring back He-Man. And I have an idea for He-Man, and I don't even know if I'll write it, but actually, I don't know, maybe. But my idea is that the crux of the story is Adora and Glimmer and Bo, the main characters, go out and find. I hope you can not hear that truck that just passed by. I'm not driving, I'm parked, if you can't see me. But Adora, Glimmer, and Bo, they go out and they search for these princesses to create a princess rebellion with the kingdoms and everything, like a water princess and a technological princess. All these different princesses. And I was thinking maybe they go out, they hear about another princess colony. They go out, they find an all-male colony, like just all dudes, and they're all just like rough and tough and playing football. It's like Lord of Flies, but with all dudes, and they're like, is Lord of Flies all boys? I don't know. I haven't read that book in a minute, but they're like destroying like the trees around them. They're destroying their home, and I think that'd be a really good thing. And then but Adam, or He-Man, he's like this giant hulking guy, voiced by me, of course, and Adora feels this connection with him. backstory: She-Ra and He-Man are brother and sister, and so they feel connected to each other. And Glimmer keeps thinking like, oh, she has a crush on him. She has a crush on him. And then they follow He-Man. He-Man's this really douchey guy. They follow He-Man back to his place. He lives alone, his little hut. And then he turns back into the scrawny Prince Adam. And they're like, oh, you lied to us. And then eventually, you know, they say, oh, you have the same sword as me. And She-Ra and Adam hit it off, and they become brother and sister again. I think that'd be really interesting. If you like that idea, if I should write it, then tell me. Moving on, I always late with Katie Nolan. Katie Nolan has a talk show on ESPN Plus, which I did not know existed. I knew ESPN Plus existed. It's a $5 streaming thing for ESPN. Disney Plus is coming out next month, something like that, or in a month or so, in a few months. And that's going to, I assume, be $5 to $8, something like that. Competitively priced is what they've been saying. And Katie Nolan has a show. There's nothing you can find on it. But you can find clips with Katie on ESPN's YouTube page, and they're like the long clips, like, you know how like John Oliver or Hassam Minhaj or Samantha Bee, they'll upload their long form pieces on YouTube from the show. And I mean, it's a late night show, but with sports. And Katie Nolan, of course, if you don't know who she is, she's a wonderful presenter, and I'm glad she has a show. I like her. She's a very interesting person. But I don't know that this show needs to be styled in late night form. And it's only on ESPN Plus, which is, yeah, that makes sense that it's on ESPN Plus and nothing else. But it's a fun show. I can tell you that much. I watched a segment from it, and I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if it's something that I would pay for ESPN Plus for. But again, ESPN Plus is $5. You can watch all the ESPN you want. If Disney didn't own ESPN, I think ESPN would be dead and gone by this point. But Disney's trying to get their hands in everything. But she has guests. And I can't stress this enough. It's just like a late night show, but with sports. Remember Sports Soup? And who hosted that? Matt. I interviewed him. Matt. I'm not gonna look it up. I have my phone in my hand. I gotta look it up. Sports Soup. Who hosted that? I feel so dumb for not knowing this. We are Matt Eisman. I'll say we're friends, but we're not. But this is how the show kind of, it gives off the air of that, hey, we're jocks, and we're going to talk, and Katie Nolan is a jock because she likes sports, and we're going to talk about this sports thing, and make it accessible to everybody, because that's kind of how Sports Soup was, even though it was a show that was about it's like the soup, talk soup, whatever. But it's a very fun show. I had a good time. Definitely check it out if you want to. It's on, like I said, YouTube, all that stuff. So there you go. Hey, listen, I gotta go inside for this dentist appointment that I had to drive way out of my way for before I head into the office. But we're gonna take a break, and then I'll come back with the last two topics. I don't know if it'll be in my car. It might be in one of those rooms I told you about, but I think it'll be really cool if I can get one of those rooms. I just don't want people looking at me. Who is this guy? He's only worked here for a couple of weeks. How dare he? Would that be funny? Anyway, thank you for listening. We're going to go right into the second segment after this. I appreciate you. You're the best. We'll see you in a second. Bye. Take a break. And welcome back to the podcast. This is the Constitutionals. If you didn't know, if you came in for some reason halfway through the episode, I want to tell you, I got done with my dentist appointment, drove to work about half an hour early. I laid back for about 15 minutes, took a sweet, sweet nap. It wasn't even a nap all the way. Let's jump right into it. Really quick, yesterday I'm sitting there at work. No. When did I figure this out? Anyway, yesterday I'm sitting there doing something. I'm scrolling through my news feed, taking a little break from whatever I'm doing, and I find out that Chevy has decided to axe a bunch of cars. The Chevy Impala, which you hear about in rap songs in the 90s. Chevy Impala, let's see what else. The Chevy Cruze, the Buick LaCrosse. Cadillac CT6. Most importantly, they're axing the Chevy Volt, which is the very car. I know, baby. It just reacted. The very car that I am sitting in right now. Chevy Volt is going to halt production in early 2019. They're closing down. GM is closing down a plant, a bunch of plants, but one of them makes the Volt. And it's because those cars really weren't selling. They're going to shift, just like Ford. If you don't know, Ford shifted to trucks, SUVs, and crossovers because that's what Americans are buying. But one of my biggest issues is the Volt is a fantastic car for pretty much anybody. It's got a battery that can go between 30 and 50 miles on just a single charge. You know, mine is an old one, so it goes about 30, 35. And then we have gas. We have a gasoline tank that when mixed with a battery can take you 300 something miles, which is insane. I can get from here to Nashville if I had one charge and one tank during the summer months, which is crazy to say the least. But it sucks that these cars are being destroyed. Not destroyed. They're ending. They're being. So one of the things is that GM said that they will be supplying parts until 2020, something like that, or 2025, one of those years. That's what I read from somebody. I'm getting the story from Jalopnik. That is, I believe, owned by Kotaku and AV Club, the same company that owns them, because they have the same website design, which is egregious. But yeah, like I said, Ford and Fiat Chrysler, they are doing SUV and truck, as is GM. I wouldn't be surprised if another car company went that way as well. And it truly sucks because this car is fantastic. As you can see, there's plenty of room. I don't know if you can see that. But there's plenty of room back there, and it's got the back seats. Mine's a 2012, so there is no middle seat because the battery runs through here, but it's still fine. I mean, that's a hatchback. I genuinely love this car. That being said, there's a big wind dam on the underside of the car, and since mine's a 2012, so they came with these super long wind dams, and now it just kind of mine is like I hit something. I didn't hit anything, but I hit like a little one of those parking bumps, and I went up too far, and the wind dam broke off, and so now half of it's hanging off. But other than that, it's a fantastic car, and it sucks because you don't want a car that is. So like I said, in 2020 or 2025, GM is not going to have any more parts for Volts. They're not gonna. So if I take my car to I just saw somebody running into the office building. I'm at a TV job, but it's run out of an office building, and I just saw somebody running. Anyway, but if your car is an end of life, which is, I had to read about this. If your car is end of life and they don't supply the parts anymore, so if like in 2022, if there's something wrong with the battery, and I can't get another good battery, then the car is gone forever. So it really sucks that this has to happen. I really wish they would have advertised the Volt more. I mean, now they have the Bolt, but that's a completely electric vehicle, and that's impractical for anybody. For me, especially, for people like me who only have one car. And then so as soon as I read that, it was Monday I found this out because I was at home. And as soon as I read that, I started looking up other hybrid vehicles, plug-in hybrid vehicles properly. That's what I want. And the only ones that includes like what, a Prius, and I don't want a Prius. Prius is, they don't have enough. The reason I got the Volt, over the Prius was because it had just a little bit more torque. And so I want to be able to appear fast, because I used to have a Mustang. I want to be able to, it was a very crappy Mustang, but it was a Mustang nonetheless. I want to be able to appear fast, but also still have a safe car. And it sucks. It really does. It blows that this is happening like this. And so what I landed on is a plug-in hybrid. It's barely a hybrid. It's barely a plug-in hybrid, really. It is, I think it's the, crap. the Volvo XC90, something like that. It's a plug-in hybrid. I think the battery gets it to like 11 miles, which sucks, but whatever. We'll figure it out. Hopefully I figure by the time I have this paid off in a couple years, that I will that there will be more plug-in hybrids or something comparable. There's a hybrid that was just announced. A company announced a couple of hybrids, like a hybrid truck and a hybrid SUV that go 417 miles on a single charge. So we'll see what happens. But I gotta move on really quick. Let's spend the last 7 minutes of this show talking about YouTube. So YouTube, I've mentioned them before. Very great company. They are switching now. Earlier this year, about 8 months ago, they had "Do not park next to me." They started bringing in more shows. They have YouTube Premium. They changed YouTube Red to YouTube Premium. They have a bunch of new shows, and like Step Up High Water, I believe this was called. Ryan Hansen Solves Crimes on TV. And what's the one at Cobra Kai, which is the Karate Kid spinoff? And Do You Want to See a Dead Body, starring Rob Hubel and a bunch of other famous people. They're all good shows. And they have this new show that came out called Origins, and then they have another one called Origins, and then they have. Sorry, for some reason my phone stopped recording. It just said voice recorder stopped. Anyway, YouTube Red, YouTube Premium, this is what it's called now. So they gave it a price hike from $10 to $12, and they have all these pretty much decent shows, but then a lot of them are from their YouTube people. Well, how I feel about that, making content. So they have all these shows. I guess nothing proved fruitful for them because after 8 months or so, they're shifting all of their paid programming to free. That's going to be ad supported. So who's to say what YouTube Premium is going to be? But they haven't released numbers for YouTube Premium. And YouTube Premium is free with people who pay for Google Play Music and who pay for YouTube Music for the $10 version. So, and you're grandfathered in at that price versus paying the $12. So without YouTube Premium having these shows that are just for YouTube Premium, what do you have? What do you get with YouTube Premium is what I'm saying. You get no ads, and that's pretty much it. And Google Play Music or YouTube Music soon. But by 2020, the Premium Originals and existing ad-supported initiatives into a single programming effort that will provide free ad-supported windows for YouTube users. So all the movies they have, the Liza Koshy TV shows, the Jared Logan, is that his name? Jared Logan? I think so. Logan Jared? That guy, the douche, the blonde guy. Here's a quote from a YouTube spokesperson. By any measure, 2018 was a breakout year for YouTube Premium and YouTube Originals. Expanded, launched over 50 scripted, unscripted shows, collected 8 Emmy nominations, and over 30 industry awards. As we look to 2019, we will continue to invest in scripted programming, not really, and shift to make our YouTube Originals ad-supported to meet the growing demand of more global fan base. This next phase of our original strategy will expand the audience of our YouTube Original creators and provide advertisers with incredible content that reaches the YouTube generation. I hate that term so much. They started doing this. This is what I'm reading. This is the article from The Wrap, but I think The Hollywood Reporter had the exclusive. YouTube first began experimenting with ad-supported content in 2017, with shows like Ellen's Show More Show. I got an email, sorry. And continued in 2018 with Kevin Hart, What the Fit, and I Am Demi Lovato. So those shows were YouTube Premium, even though they weren't behind the paywall. This is from The Wrap. By making all of its original programming available for no charge, the site is providing its more than 2 billion users a better opportunity to experience and engage with its original content. YouTube Premium, which includes access to thousands of songs, will... Okay, hold on. This is wrong. First of all, YouTube Premium does not have access to the songs. It's a whole different service. YouTube Music is what has the songs, and it's more than thousands because it's everything that's on Google Play Music eventually. Will now be reserved for those who want to binge watch content without ads. I hated the last sentence entirely. But that's how it goes. It's frustrating because these shows can live. They just need to find a better way of. I mean, I guess this is great. I mean, you're not ending any shows, but like I said, these shows that I mentioned before, with the exception of Step Up, but Ryan Hansen solves crimes on television. Do you want to see a dead body? I don't think shows like that are going to be coming back, which really sucks because they're very fun and dare I say good shows. I dare say they're good shows. I like Ryan Hansen. That's the reason I watch his show. And they've got the woman from Orange is the New Black and You're the Worst, who played the therapist. She's in that show as well. She's a good actress. Very funny people. And do you want to see a dead body? Rob Hubel is a funny comedian. I was going to say he's too good for that service, but then I realized anybody should be able to work for anything. So that really sucks. It really, truly blows that YouTube is going this route. And as I said, they're gonna start focusing away from scripted and go right into unscripted, and they're just gonna fall around their YouTubers, which is an issue in itself. But whatever, there's that. So there you go. That's all you get with YouTube. There's just too many streaming options, and then there are 3 mega streaming options, which are Netflix, Amazon, and Hulu. And even Hulu's getting a short shift. But it really sucks because YouTube could have been a major player in that space, and they just needed to access this stuff better. I mean, Google is one of the biggest companies in the world, besides Apple and Disney, and all 3 have streaming services. So we'll see where that takes us. And also, with Apple making all of these Apple TV shows, where people are supposed to watch this stuff. I don't even know where you can watch James Corden's, not Comedians in Cars, Get a Coffee, sing-along, carpool karaoke. I don't know where you can watch that. I know you watch it on Apple devices, but how? Where? Do you watch it on Apple Music? This is what Apple should have done. And I know I've said this before. Is they have the shows, they make the shows, make a production house, produce the shows, sell it to Hulu, sell it to Amazon, sell it to Netflix. I get that they want all the money for themselves, but you get more. It'll be better for you in the long run. Because if I can't. It's the same thing with DC Nation or whatever the heck that thing is. I love DC Comics. I would love to watch their stuff. I would love to watch Young Justice. They have the trailer that came out. And they're going to release 3 episodes every Friday until January 25th. I really wish there was an easier way to watch that show. Because I'm not going to watch it on my laptop. I'm not going to watch it on my phone. I'm not doing that. I would just create an Amazon channel to the very least. And that's super easy. CBS does it. Okay. I gotta go to work. I'm a minute late. Listen, if you like what you heard here, why don't you head on over to cpluscomedy.com, where there's some interviews coming out. I swear to God, there's some interviews coming out. Ryan Sickler, I'll name him, and I forgot the other guy. Who cares? And that's coming soon. Hopefully Friday. We'll see what happens. And then head on over to the website cpluscomedy.com. What am I talking about? What is this show? The Constitutionals? I forget what the show is. Listen to the Application Podcast. Pray that I get this job at WABE. Like I said, it's late in the week. I think I've said this on Application last night. It's late in the week, and I doubt I'm getting the job at this point. So it makes me feel bad that I made 80 episodes of that show, 50 episodes of that show. I'm on 80-something here. And then you can always head to youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can watch a video version of this show if you want to see me sit in my car and talking to my phone. And what else? What else? Oh, News Time lives on that. This week's News Time is really, really good. It's really well produced. It's about a topic I did not want to cover. It's covering Megyn Kelly's contract dispute with NBC. So we got that going for us. So definitely check that out. It's a really good episode. I mean that with my entire heart. And then, yeah, we have 2 more news times for the rest of the year, and then we have a bunch of pre-recorded things that I will be happy to not deal with. What else? Follow us on Twitter at @C+Comedy. Follow me on Twitter at @ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram at @C+Comedy. Follow me on Instagram at @ChadBlackWhite if you want to see me nude sometimes. That's it. I gotta go. We'll see you later, baby. Thank you for listening and watching.